There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream and the podcast. My goodness, it's been very busy in the chat already this morning. Great to see. Thank you very much. Has anybody who's on YouTube at the moment used the new hype feature? Mrs. M was telling me about that over on her Feel Good Astrology channel. There is a new hyping feature. And the Harry Potter scar, I can explain why my generous forehead is adorned with a battle scar. It was a fight with a car, actually, late last night. I shall come back to that. Yeah, and of course, the Portugal Club this morning, we have a Portuguese citizenship test question number 56, which we'll go to, which has as one of its answers the Ajuda Palace. The Ajuda Palace is crying out for attention. We'll go to that question in just a moment. But yeah, if you're a YouTube member, two things actually on YouTube. If you're a subscriber, you can post now in the community section of the channel. I believe I noticed that YouTube, weird stuff. Three things actually to do with YouTube. Weird stuff is going on with both my channel and Mrs. M's subscribers. Weird subscriber numbers. We got a massive boost in income, and then they said, "Sorry, no, we made a mistake," and that all got scaled back down again. I think they're tinkering with the algorithms at YouTube on a daily basis, or there's some kind of AI worm inside the software that they're trying to track down that's causing a bit of mischief. Weird stuff. Anyway, I don't know, other YouTube channel owners might be able to comment on that. So yeah, weird stuff going on at YouTube for sure. I believe subscribers can post. There are community posts now in the community section. That's not just a normal comment under a video. This is a specific. I can post a video podcast and also a post on the timeline part of the channel that's nothing to do with the uploaded videos. So if you're a subscriber and you'd like to post something, please go ahead and try that new feature. And hyping apparently, I've not seen that myself, but apparently you can hype a video if you want to see that, which is good for helping us, people like me and Mrs. M, who've got our own YouTube channels, and it's part of our livelihood, to be part of the human algorithm, I suppose, to hype it into recognition and showcasing, presumably, in the timeline. So have a look at that if that's of interest to you. That may help, generally speaking, broaden and sustain the community here. Oh, a little bit of neon you can see. I've got to get this framing right. I keep meaning to do stuff to this backdrop here. I was on the VIP check-in at 7:30 this morning, tinkering a little bit, and I thought I'd straightened out. It looks like I'm running down to the right-hand side of the screen as you're looking at it. I've got to do something with my cropping. What happens if I go right out? Oh, there you go. You can see my neon there. Once you T-tuck. Yeah, work to do on the background there. Yeah, I think it is level, but those of you who are human spirit levels will be able to tell me if that's true or not. And it kind of should be a little bit like that, but if I zoom in a little, no, that's me maximum zoom. Yeah, that's me. I have to put up with that this morning until I tinker with it a little bit more. Right, Mel's joining us. Oh, loads of comments. So I'll come to those ASAP. Mel's joining us around 8:30 this morning, and we'll be picking up and running with those comments from yesterday. These are so tiny. Let me see, is this the right one? Yes, how safe is it to walk alone at night? This is moving to Portugal. This is something she mentioned to me long before we shared these memes yesterday. But moving to Portugal, moving abroad, solo, and she has a female perspective as well. So comments welcome if you've moved abroad as a solo. Mel will be talking about her experience. Talk about yours if you've moved here alone. If you want to move fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, I suppose is a useful phrase in this regard. I guess if you're moving solo, you don't have anything to negotiate with your partner or family who might be moving with you, which could be a benefit. And I suspect there are downsides and negatives as well, which you'll go into at around 8:30 this morning. John Wood of Valwood. No, not that one. Where's the other one? No, not the population forecast. There was another meme that was helpful. Oh yeah, 20 best countries for traveling alone. We'll come back to that as well when we're talking to Mel later on. Yeah, you may have been expecting to see John Wood's return this morning. This was going to be his regular morning slot. However, since we started doing the Find Your Home in Portugal show with Ben Austin, Muito bem Austin, on a Monday evening, John, because he's working on a sustainable housing project, is better suited to that environment. 8 o'clock, usually 8 o'clock on a Monday evening. But we were out all day yesterday, the Munsons, celebrating a great birthday of the youngest. Happy birthday, Solomon! Great day yesterday, and we stopped off at a castle. As you can do if you travel anywhere in Portugal, of course, you can stop off at a castle because there are so many castles here. As Jerry of Expats Portugal might say in his forthcoming coffee table album, his coffee table book. Oh no, no, not another castle. I think his household do like well, some of them like a household visit. I think he's a bit over it when it comes to castles. But if you like castles, Portugal's the place for you. And we found one on the way to where we were going in Coimbra. That's where the lad wanted to go to celebrate his birthday. He wanted to go to Coimbra, to a particular shopping mall. My favourite, actually, the Alma shopping mall. And on the way, we discovered an old stomping ground of a city. And there we realised we hadn't been to their castle, so we popped in. I haven't given the game away yet, have I? Because I want you to guess where this castle is located. I'll play a video about that in the next few minutes before Mel joins us. What else did I mean to share with you? Oh yeah, if you've got your digital knickers in a twist, there's a new service that was put to me. I'm going to try and get this chap on the show. If you're in a bit of a mess with all your digital goings on, your files and your accounts and stuff, there's a guy who can help you take care of that. I'm going to get him on as a morning show guest. Oh, and also the Meet the Tugas author saw his advert in the Portugal Resident this week, reached out to him, delighted to be joining us on the show. To be confirmed, joining us soon. Date to be confirmed. Meet the Tugas. That's a new book that's out as well. Oh, yeah, I was talking about John Wood, wasn't I? Who is better suited to the evening environment. Normally, that's where I went off on a tangent. Normally, we would do our Find Your Home in Portugal show with Ben Austin on a Monday evening. We were out all day yesterday, so it's been rescheduled to tonight. So 2 podcasts for you this evening, 2 interviews, 2 shows, 2 live streams this evening. The Positive Echo, where Gary Coulton and I will be talking more about creating a legacy. Particularly useful for those of you who've come to Portugal and want to give back and want to create something. You might like to join us for that conversation at 6. And rescheduled from last night to 8 this evening with John Wood talking about the further adventures of his sustainable housing project this evening. A featured property as well, and a featured real estate agent as well from 8 o'clock this evening. So that's how today is looking. Mel joining us, of course, in about 20 minutes. A Portuguese citizenship test question to do as well. And name that castle as well. Oh, and did you figure out where Nick was from? I can't play his whole song again. I'd like to, but we played it in its entirety yesterday. Maybe we need a still Nick as well from the place. Where's Nick Burrell and his beautiful music, his guitar, his van, and his tour around Portugal and the new album? Where is he at the moment? We need a still Nick to get the answer to that question. Let's go to some of your comments, though. Blame it on the cat. What, for me going off on a tangent or my forehead? Yes, actually, if that was a cat-related scar, I think there would be 4 or 5 of those lines on my forehead. It's quite impressive, isn't it? It's showing up very nicely in the studio lighting here. Let's go back to where we began this morning, and a rather disgruntled, I think, is a good description of Capricorn Chris, Capricorn 12 Chris this morning. Why the 12? Is your birthday on the 12th there, Chris? I think that's probably a really nice thought for you, isn't it? Happy birthdays rather than the stench of public transport. He's a modern day Dickens, taking us to the London Underground, or is it? I think it's the Overground. Actually, he just got on the 7:28 train. If you're of a sensitive disposition, you might not like to stop listening for a minute or so. Greeted by that distinct smell of either stale cannabis, rat urine, I'm going to say, or a vapor, as in a person who vapes, that thinks everyone wants to smell their awful aroma. Ooh, Mr. Grumpy this morning. Cold is an understatement. It's freezing. Well, Chris, we've got freezing temperatures heading to Portugal as well, which I may talk about this morning too. Reporting from the train, women blowing their nose into tissues 2 feet from a man eating apples. It's a wonder we're not all dead with cross-contamination. I'm more of susceptible host theorist when it comes to infection than I am germ theory. We had a big experiment in that, didn't we, a couple of years ago? A few years ago. Morning, Chris. Was my cheerful greeting to you. I hope that's improving, or maybe not. Eating on a London rush hour train in the winter with all sneezing, coughs, and germs is like eating in a public toilet. Well, it might be, Chris, but it does depend. Have a look at the respective theses, Thesis, of Béchamp and Pasteur. Two rivals, not unlike, they were like the Edison and the Tesla of the infection world, I think you might find out. So do work on your own immunity and maybe view it through the lens of whether or not you're a susceptible host, rather than worrying too much about the soup of germs that you're operating in. Because really, if we were going to be killed by germs or made ill by germs, we'd be ill all the time, if not dead, wouldn't we? There must be something else working with that, right? So fear not, my friend. Bon dia Gumpers from Jackie and T-Duck as well. Bon dia Alegria. Gumpers this morning. Gemini Bradshaw also in. Good morning, Gemini. Got a Gemini and a Capricorn this morning. Very good. Good morning, Capricorn 12. Careful with the criticism. You don't want to get arrested. Yes. Are these offensive tweets? Be careful. You might feel the long arm of the law on your neck there in old Blighty. Don't make me pull this train over with all your criticism and negativity. It's not really like that, is it, over in the UK, Chris? Capricorn, people are strange. People are strange. Oh, and you're a stranger. Oh, I must do the new karaoke publicity. Christmas party on the 13th in San Martino de Porto. And the week before that, a warm-up, really, at the Solution Bar, karaoke and wine tasting with Sergio from Red Notes. When you travel on the train rush hour, you see all sorts. Too many unhygienic people on the train. The things you see people do, it turns my stomach. I have to look away. Stop talking about it. You're upsetting yourselves. Bon dia, everyone. Back in Portugal. What an amazing trip that looked like. And I hope you gave my regards to dear old Bristol. I was able to identify Park Street. Went for curries with my parents along Park Street. Was it Park Hill? Is it called? Yeah, I remember going to a curry house. That's what they were called. I don't think Indian restaurants are called curry houses anymore, are they? That's what they used to be called back in the day when they had flock wallpaper and little booths that you could sit in. And no one had a poppadom until that point in the UK, or spag bol and other exotic things that were coming in to turn UK from black and white into full colour. Thank you. No, thank you. I remember those train journeys well. Oh, deodorant, we don't use that. Pete piling in as well on the public transport stench. Bon dia alegria a todos. Feliz terça-feira. How's it going with the drumming, Matty? If you do need support and help in your drumming career, don't forget the VIP session. We check in at 7:30 every morning. A bit of priority setting, bit of support, bit of accountability, and a review of what we said we would do yesterday. Anybody who wants that, who's got a project or is a bit of a procrastinator, we do that at 7:30 in the morning. Solar, I used to leave early to avoid that. I can't blame this on the cat. I'll explain now. My Harry Potter-ish scar on my forehead. A beautiful day out. Actually, I'll explain after I've played the video. Can you recognize this castle that we experienced yesterday? Which town is this? We're at this mystery Portuguese castle, and you'll just see the flag. Look, isn't that great? Portuguese flag there, asking you to guess the location of this castle. But got a bit of a clue for you. They chose to build this one very close to the continent, so they wouldn't have to go too far for the shopping. You can see continent down there, and this incredible landscape, a quarry above, and some very stormy skies, the end of Storm Claudia. But a very commanding position, very handy for town, if ever you need to pop out for anything. An excellent location for a castle, very close to the continent. What a great town. Going up there, I realised how big this Portuguese city was. Fond memories there, actually. The night before Mrs. M gave birth to the little fella who had his birthday yesterday, we were in this particular town, kicking autumn leaves around. Nice little place. Matty, you might recognise that particular place. Not too much of a giveaway. Lots of castles look like that in Portugal, of course, but you might have recognised that landscape, the quarry, the continent, which they chose to build the castle close to, of course, for the facilities. Very good amenities close by. Right, a guess is in the chat, please, if you will. Yeah, and the scar on my forehead, when we got back, not too late last night. I think we got back around 10 o'clock in the evening. Sleepy kids in the back, the old fly catching. I think two of the three kids asleep on the back seat, mouths open, catching flies. And I was getting the stuff out of the car, and in the dark, I couldn't see the edge of the parcel shelf, which is some of that sort of pre-formed or formed plastic, hairy plastic. Do you know what I mean? Like it's part textile, part plastic, hot formed. I don't know, injection mold. I don't know, some plastic process anyway, where they form the shape of the parcel shelf, and then hang it in the back of the car with a very sharp edge on it. So as you lean in to get your belongings out of the car, that rubs along your forehead, and I'm thinking there's going to be a pretty steady flow of blood, or just a little bit of an impressive scar that I can boast about to friends and family. Not that impressive, not lots of blood, but just an explanation there if you think I got myself involved in a bar fight after the amazing win. What was that, 2 nights ago? The Portuguese football score. We didn't talk about that yesterday. It would beat Armenia, was it? 9-1. I was going to go and watch that match. I looked online to see what time it was on, and they'd already beaten Armenia 9-1. Too late for me to go and have a beer and watch that. Anyway, a good win, and Portugal into the World Cup. I think that is the qualifier literally for them. 9-1 is a very considerable and emphatic victory there. Is that the hype to give the points? I don't know, Gemini. YouTube are introducing things. Mel might know. Mel's got a YouTube channel as well. They keep introducing things. I guess that's the way it works, isn't it? If you've got a social media platform, you've got to keep exciting people. And where does it end? Hype feature, not so new, been there for a couple of months, if not. All right, Matty. No one's used it on Good Morning Portugal, it would appear, however. We don't hype here. We're just very calm. I used to leave at 5:30 a.m. and still didn't avoid it. Peter, my goodness. I was saying on my VIP video, it's really good for people who've got a project. It's good for people, procrastinators, our VIP chicken first thing in the morning. If however you've worked hard like this and you've got up at 5:30 in the morning, you probably still want to be asleep at 7:30 and not bothering about such things as procrastination, efficiency, and productivity. Bon dia, solo life from Jackie and the Welsh Mafia are in this morning. Everybody, Peda and Jackie, how you doing? Borada. There's lovely, fantastic, fabulous. Well, at least you guys have a YouTube income. Lol, I don't. Only very small, very small. Mrs. M does pretty well. Me, something to write home. Make more from the podcasting now. If you do have a YouTube channel and your videos can be turned into podcast, get a Spreaker account. Send it out to all the platforms and have ad revenue on there. I'm doing pretty well on that, I have to say. Bon dia Gumpers, 3 figures. And you know what that means? When someone says they've got 3 figures, it means they're earning $101, doesn't it? Bon dia Gumpers, Feliz Terça. First frost of the season today back in Blighty. So jobs to do in the garden to protect the more tender plants. After coffee, of course, get your priorities right. Those plants are screaming for your help. Oh, no. Cappuccino first. What, with the size of that scar, was it a Mata Velhos or Papa Reformas? Yes. Oh, those dear vehicles. I recently posted in the community area of a different channel. Oh, so you know how to do that. How do you hype? I don't know. If is that hype, you only allow 3 hypes a week. Quite right too. You don't want to get overexcited, I think, but you cannot hype everything you view. It is monitored, so you can't overhype. Quite right. I approve of that. Let's not get too excited here. You can't throw a stick out here, Matty, without hitting a YouTuber. It's true, isn't it? In fact, I think that's one of IMA's new, especially for American expats or people who want to become expats, you're now no longer, especially if you want citizenship, if you're American, you're coming to Portugal, you're not allowed to start a YouTube channel, I think you'll find in some of the proposed legislation. It tells you, hope this video. I'll take hope as much as I'll take hype. Tap it. And automatically it puts the points on. Well, thanks for that. Catherine, hello, where you been? Did the solo, and it's very safe all day and evening. Thanks, Catherine, for being here. Lovely to see you. You came here solo. Of course you did. I had a fantastic chat with our Lush Mel. Let's call her Lush Mel this morning. It was so helpful and loads of fantastic advice, of course. That's how we roll here, isn't it? Gumpers helping Gumpers. I'm a solo mover too. Well done, Adrian. Moderately safe in Russia and Ukraine. Carl, these maps get more and more silly, nearly as accurate as the car park sleeping. Yes, we have to be so careful these days. I want to share with you my recent contribution on that note there, Peter. You're absolutely right. I'm a sucker for them, though. Do you find yourself looking at any flag-based meme and thinking to yourself, oh, I wonder if Portugal's on it? What does this say about Portugal? Or is it just me? I was so I agree with you completely, and was so taken by this matter that I took the matter into my own hands and made my own meme here, which I'm hastily saving for you and want to share with you now. These memes are as unhelpful as they're helpful. I mean, to be fair, they're only meant to be a very quick visual, aren't they, to give you a little bit of information. They are clickbait, I suppose, essentially. But I love them. Things like this, metro systems of Europe. Is it because of the train spotter in me, perhaps, or is it because I like logos? Of course, Portugal, you see there. We're always looking down at the bottom left-hand corner of these, aren't we, to see if Portugal has been featured and to see how it fares in these particular rankings with an R. And yes, there you go. You see the Porto Metro and the Lisbon Metro and all the other logos of these lovely metro systems around Europe there. And my own contribution to this, a list of countries with flags that looks like important information, but isn't. That you could easily fall for that, couldn't you, as you're scrolling through X? You think, oh, Qatar, Vatican City, North Korea's on there, Finland. It's nothing to do with anything. I made it myself on Canva. There you go. Amazing what you can do with a list of countries and some flags there. Very attractive to the eye. I've got a couple of those to share with Mel. We better get a move on because Mel's going to be with us soon at around 8:30 talking about traveling solo, moving abroad. And I thought that's quite a nice old-fashioned phrase, moving abroad, overseas. We used to say something like that in the UK, didn't we? I'm going to the continent for my holidays when people will be going just 20 odd miles across I'm going to the continent. I've been to the Bureau de Change and I'm going to the continent where I might try one of those new continental quilts in one of their fabulous hotels, a pension over there en France. Where was I? We haven't done the Portuguese citizenship test question. And I see Joao F joins us this morning. Fantastic. Good to see you, Joao F. And Lisa's here as well. This is lovely this morning. A few names and faces who we either haven't seen here ever, I suspect, or those who haven't been here for a while. Catherine, Joao, Lisa as well. Lovely to see you here and sharing here a few of you that you travelled solo. Adrian, there is even a solo traveller Christmas lunch. Ask Tony for more details. Didn't realise that. Is that a Central Portugal solo travellers Christmas lunch? Interesting. And we can't find the hype button anywhere. Queen and Convict also here this morning. Bon dia. We're on a mission to finish our olive harvesting. You've hit the ground running. That's brilliant. Just here in your first year and you're olive harvesting already. Very good. Starting as you mean to go on, I suspect. A friend of mine was on a Norway cruise and was woken by his better half, encouraging him to look at the scenery. No thanks, he said. Once you've seen a fjord, you've seen them all. Human beings, what are we like? That I'm sure that is a true story, right? Good morning, everybody. The great João Ferreira is among us this morning. Adult. No, we got it. Yeah, once you've seen one fjord, you've seen them all. And yes, cat related. It so easily could be. Although my relationship with the cats is better, I've realised that if you do, and I hate to say this, if you do bow to their needs and give them what they want, they are less trouble. Ugh! Dogs will wait and look lovingly at you. I mean, I got home last night. Jimmy's there, Peggy's there, looking up at me. I can do no wrong in their eyes. Whereas cats just start out like that. Where have you been? They just look at you like you do wrong all the time. And where's my food? Does the Sustainable Housing Project attempt to meet accessibility practices? Well, tune in tonight and ask him. 8 o'clock, we're talking to John Wood this evening of Val Wood. I suspect it does. I suspect John will be very sensitive to such needs here. Okay, folks, we might have to come back to these comments. Off to test the germs in the bay. Well done. You're going to test whether you're a susceptible host or whether there's loads of germs out there. I mean, I was reminded, talking of germs and the flow of germs, I was reminded, do you remember, if you know San Martino de Porto or probably any other beach in Portugal, do you remember the stickers? As you stepped onto the beach, there was a green sticker urging you to, this is during the COVID time, you entered the beach on this side, and you exited the beach a few feet away on the other side. It was an intelligence test, folks, and some of you failed it. But to be fair, there was a hyperbolic atmosphere which worried and destabilized people. But I mean, to see the remnants of that, I was looking at it thinking, good God. Anyway, lots of comments to come back to. Oh, Hugh, I'm just going to say hello to people I haven't said hello to yet, and then we'll do the Portuguese citizenship test. Question 56, everybody, featuring the great Ajuda Palace this morning again. Good morning. It's a great sunny morning. Fantastic. Lovely to hear that. I think that's everybody checked in this morning. Please keep your boarding passes close to you. We will be taking off with Mel soon, but not until we've had a quick look at this Portuguese citizenship test question. Where are we? Where did it go? It's oh no. Okay, I'll start here. And then yes, if you want to support the show, look, you can join the community anyway, absolutely free. Check out the timeline and you'll get access to the Portugal A to Z free. If you want to support us, you can join as premium. Thank you to all of you who do. And if you want the extras, join as VIP and give us some extra support there. Right, let's go to the timeline. Yes, there we go. That's very good. Are you seeing that change there, or are you still? Yes. Perfect. Excellent stuff. Let's go to question 56 then this morning. Oh, we've already had a vote on this. Who's that in this morning? Anouk, good morning to you. And I think you've made a very good guess there. What is the name of the historic palace in Sintra with colourful architecture? That's a nice question, is it? Nicely put. Is it the Pina Palace? Is it B, the Kaluge? Stop giggling at the back. Pina Palace, there's nothing funny about that. B, the Kaluge Palace, or is it the Ajuda Palace? Selection C. I'm going to make my vote. I am going to go for a bit of a Pina this morning. The pina colada. Do they serve pina coladas in there? I wonder. Let's. Thank you, Adrian, for your message. Oh, yes, of course, you can contact me on 913-590-303 as well. UN, thank you for this. This is rather abstract. Experts confirm UN decolonisation grounds for Scotland's constitution. But these are the times we're living in, folks. Further and further independence, and we're down until we're down to the societal atom, I suspect. And Bill, thank you. Well, hey, fantastic! First Christmas picks in. We don't do these until do we? What are we going to do this Christmas? I'm going to have to show you. I'm going to have to show you this one, because what does Santa do before he goes off on his big trip around the world? Well, he makes sure he's been to the toilet. And this has been immortalized over in Agada, where they have the biggest immortalization of Santa, as well as the smallest. You can see a representation of Santa on a grain of rice by a world-famous rice artist, a rice etching artist. It's quite the discipline, isn't it? You've got to have good eyesight or an excellent microscope or something like that. So the tiniest Santa is there in Agada, with one of the best, it has to be said, with one of the best Christmas shows in the country. And that, I mean, I don't say that lightly, because there's a lot of competition for the best Christmas show in Portugal. They also have the biggest, and here he is. And it does look to me like Santa's going for a quick number 2 before he heads off to fly around the world and give all the children their presents. And I hope he washes his hands. He can wash his hands in the river there before he sets off and flies around the world. What a place to come in, Mel. Let's give you a great big round of applause and welcome you onto the screen. Hola, bon dia. That's
Hola.
not really what Santa's do. Have you been to Agada? Have you seen this?
No, I haven't. I think I have been to Agada, but I
It's a
didn't
great
see
town.
that side.
Yeah, it's great. It's the original town with the brollies, I think. But that does. Would you agree with me? That does look like Santa relieving himself.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that as the first thing, but now that you mention it, yes.
What is wrong with me? Don't answer that, Mel. Good morning to you. How are you? Tudo bem? Como estás?
Muito bom, obrigada. Eu sentada no terreno. I'm sitting in the field again.
Vocês quinta ou tua quinta?
Sim, a minha casa é renovar. They're ripping out my kitchen, so I'm not
I
at
would have
home.
got that. You didn't need to translate. I'd have got that. You B1, B2 people showing off on the breakfast show. How's it going?
Oh, it's hard.
Oh, it's hard. Oh, it's hard. How hard exactly? What's difficult? Is it a lot of verbs and grammar?
No, it's well, the bits that we've done so far, it's just the beginning of it now. It's more the assumption that you already know the vocabulary for starters, and he does all of the lessons completely in Portuguese, very
How dare
quickly
he?
speaking. So yeah, I mean the guts of it is, I think, the same, is that there's still some people in the town that I can understand okay, and others, like, very friendly, very nice, chat away to me, and I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yes, we
Just
know.
depends on their accent and the way that they speak, and so.
Is this like this?
Tem que ser, mas vieram aqui para o Maninho, como vocês, que é Maninho de liberdade.
Like that. Yeah, it's difficult. I've got a new theory. Can I just check if you would agree with this new theory about Portuguese? And it revolves around the pronunciation of Caldas Terrena. You know, there's like Setúbal, Setúbal. The towns have these different pronunciations, and what is really weird is sometimes you'll hear a person using different pronunciations of their town in the same sentence. So, there'll be somebody, a Portuguese person from or who's referring to Caldas Terrena with a dash, and at the other end of the sentence they call it Caldas. And I was trying to get to grips with this with Mrs. Emma. So my new theory about Portuguese is, yes, there is a right way to say everything, but Portuguese people don't always use that right way, and they love to play with their language. And so you'll get these differences that make you feel like you're doing it wrong. But actually, I think they're just very playful with their language. Would you agree with that theory?
I think it's very based on the area.
Right.
And that can be micro pockets. I mean, I'm between Peniche and Obidos, and Peniche has its own vernacular.
All right. Okay.
So, and we're taught that. I'm being taught in Peniche. So they're saying, in this town, you'll find they pronounce it like this, just this town. And it's like the rua versus rua.
I see. I'm guessing they're a bit posher in Obidos, am I right?
Well, I don't know. I know in Lisbon, I think they tend to say rua. I was taught rua.
Rua instead of
But
rua.
I found that most others say rua.
Yes.
Yes. And Serra del Rei.
Yes.
Which I feel like I'm going to spit over everybody all of the time. So
yeah, germ theory.
Right.
Yeah.
Which actually brings me to the first point I was going to make.
You should wear a mask. You should wear a mask while you're speaking, listening to Portuguese.
The language. And I'm really kind of excited to talk about this topic, actually, because I don't think it gets talked about a lot.
Okay.
One of there was a few comments in this morning about solo travelers. I just, I've been single most of my life, and I've traveled quite a bit solo, in just on little trips. And then I did 3 years full time, permanently, with a backpack on my back, around Europe and so forth on my own. And then I've come here and I've been permanently here. There is quite a bit of difference in the issues that you confront when you're traveling on a holiday, even if it's 2 or 3 years, when you're constantly moving, to when you're trying to establish yourself in a place. And with traveling solo, I actually felt like I gained confidence in that process. And I was just trying to think about, as I was waiting for you, why I gained confidence in solo travel and I lost it moving here permanently. And I think it's because with solo travel, you're always trying to problem solve in the moment and accomplishing that and moving on. And then it's the next thing, and it's the next thing, and then you have a win and so on. And so you gain your confidence in that. Whereas when you're moving abroad, I can only speak of moving to Portugal because I don't know what it's like for another country.
Mm.
But it's a long haul and it's a long drawn out process. For example, learning the language that has you feeling demoralized and beaten, and when there's two of you, I think when there's two of you, and you know, I think it's a matter of degrees, whether you're a couple, whether there's two of you together or one, you still face the same issues. It's just often more a matter of degrees. You probably, as you say, trying to learn the language as well, and it's a bit of a struggle. But as you say, you've got Louisa to say, actually, how are we going to do this? Like, and
Exactly.
one of you
Yeah.
will learn this aspect of it faster, and the other one will learn this, and one will go to lessons, and the other one will stay home with the kids or cook meals. And so I'm trying to go to lessons and have to be fluent in it in every aspect of the world. Like I'm quite reasonably fluent now in construction and agriculture. I can talk about parafusos and all of these weird and wonderful things that
Is that a screw? A
it's a
parafuso?
screw, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the different máquinas and poços, and because that's what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But then I have to go to finances and deal with that. And then I have to walk into a shop and then I'm like, I can't remember the name of this piece of clothing because it's not something I have to deal with all of the time, but I still have to deal with it. Whereas when you're a couple, one tends to do more of these tasks and the other one tends to do more of another. So even if you're both learning the language, you get an expertise in one. Or if you're both standing there talking to someone, you may pick it up something and Louisa doesn't. So you can kind of go, oh, you mean this, or answer the person. Whereas I'm just stuck looking like a deer in the headlights because there's only one of me to try and figure out all these different ways of speaking. And when you get demoralized with it, I mean, I've always been a quick learner, academically good, run businesses, renovated houses, and all of a sudden I'm stupid. All of a sudden I'm a 2-year-old with
Yeah.
everything.
So I'm
And
not
there's
agreeing.
no one
I'm not
to
agreeing with
say.
you that you are. I'm agreeing with that. I know that feeling. Yes.
Yeah, and then you go home kind of beaten, and I would
Yeah.
like to think that you've either got Louisa saying to you, "No, no, no, come on, I'm dealing with this too. Like, I know what it's like, it
Well,
feels bad." Whereas
maybe.
I go home and look at the dog and go, "Oh my God, I'm stupid. Like, how am I ever gonna get this? What am I gonna do?" And then you run that because you've got nothing else to distract you from that voice in your head that's going, "You're stupid, you're dumb, you can't do this, this is too hard," you know, and you can spiral a lot more easily
Mm.
because you haven't got someone saying, "Look, let's just go and get a coffee. Let's just forget finances for today and go and get a coffee," or something.
Oh, those are such lovely words, aren't they?
Yeah, and you
Yes.
haven't got the other thing is that you haven't got, as we know with bureaucracy, but lots of tasks, it's a long haul and it's difficult. But normally one is better than the other. So one can kind of go, "Look, I'm going to go in and talk to finances about this and see what's going on." And then you come home and the other person has done cooked dinner. I can be at AIMA all day and then I've got to come back and I've got to walk the dogs and I've got to cook my own dinner and I've got, and I'm like, I just want to sit down.
Yeah.
And there's
Totally
no
get
one
it.
to split tasks with. Language lessons last night, I didn't get home till 10 o'clock. And I'm like, oh my God, my kitchen's being pulled apart. What am I going to eat? I mean, I had thought about it a bit before, but I didn't realize they were actually going to pull out my stove and sink yesterday.
They should
So,
feed you. They should feed
so
you at the Portuguese class. If it goes on till 10, there should be food.
there's your food. So it's like you get home and I've still got to walk the dogs and I've still got to cook myself a meal and I've got to do this. Whereas other friends of mine in the town who are doing classes, when they walk in the door, there's hot food sitting on the table and someone else has walked the dog by the time they get home.
Mm.
So it's kind of, and that's the same when you're living in your home country. Like in Australia, I was always been on my own. So you have this higher workload. You have to do the workload of 2 people all of the time. But here you've got the mental load. I knew what I was doing in Australia. Whereas
Yeah.
here I'm just going every little task which would take me 2 minutes. I'm looking for they're called horapes, the little strip that goes under the kitchen benches,
Oh,
so you don't
yes, the
sit near the
kickboards.
floor, the kickboards.
Yes, yes.
for starters, I had to figure out what it's called in Portuguese. Then you got to find it, and then you got to find the right size,
That
and they're
would
not the
take some
same as in
miming, wouldn't it?
Australia.
That really would take some miming if you were trying to explain to your builder what the kickboard is. I guess you could draw it. Yeah.
Exactly, and you're trying to go into stores, and then they're saying we've only got it in 14 millimeters, but the height of my bench is 18 millimeters. So does it work if I get 20 millimeters and cut it down, or do I have to bring the bench? Like trying to do all this in Portuguese. Whereas in
Yes.
Australia, I'd renovated heaps of houses. I knew what to do, and I knew where to go to get things. And I've been to 4 stores looking for the right sort of piece of jorope. I still haven't got it. And so every little job that would take me half an hour is now 3 days.
I
And
thought you were going to say like an hour. Yeah, and
no,
that's right. It can spiral, can't it? It can go kind of sort of contagious, can't it? Catastrophic, I suppose.
well, because you're also, I mean, first you have to look up what it's called. And not all translators give things for technical items very well.
True.
And the local lingo talk about it different. And then you go into one shop and they say, we've got this, but we haven't got it in the length that you need. Oh, can't we glue it together? Oh no, we don't do that here. Okay, I just had
don't have it, or we just the biscuit joints. Sometimes you might be talking about something that doesn't exist as well.
Well, exactly. This has happened with my bench tops. I've got a 3-meter long bench. And they put these horrible joins here with a metal strip, which all your food gets caught under and all of that sort of
You can make soup out of that, though.
stuff. So
Soup catcher.
So I'm like, okay, can't we just get 2 pieces and join it together? Like in Australia, we just join them together. No, what? Huh? And so, that literally has been going into different stores saying, can I get this? Can I get it? I want that, but can I get a 3-meter length? No. Okay, I need to choose a different one. That one comes in 3 meters, but it's not available in store. Could take 2 months to come in.
Yeah.
This one. And then coming round in circle with a guy that said, well, maybe we can do this and this and this. And I said, why can't we just brace it from underneath? Like, why can't we put the strip underneath? And then he went, oh, and he's worried about the seal. And I said, why don't we varnish the ends and seal it? And he went, hey, we can do that. Okay, yeah.
Weirdo. Foreigners coming over here, sealing the
These
end.
guys do not speak English.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to have these conversations with them with stuff. I don't know what the equipment is called. I don't even know it's available here. I'm trying to show them pictures. So it's literally, I've been kind of going backwards and forwards on bench tops for a month or two, like it's, no, that won't work. Okay, I'll give up on that idea. I'll do this. I'll go search for that. I can't find that either. Okay. And then, Friday, they're being installed now. We started work yesterday. Friday, we got the bench tops.
Excellent.
So this is the mental load as well as the pure physicality of being in 2 places at once, trying to be in AIMA for 8 hours with no one to look after my dogs at home, or all of this sort of stuff, not knowing how long you're going to get caught up somewhere. But it's the mental load, and then this feeling without the emotional support that says, you'll be right, we can do this, it's okay. So that's very different for me for solo travel. And then there's all the little things, is like road navigation. Like, as we know, Google Maps will take us on every possible back street, side road that's way too narrow. I used to drive the van around, which wasn't huge, but it was just poor visibility, and getting stuck in a hook turn in a tiny street and not having someone to jump out and look at the back and say, you can make it, you've got 2 inches to go. You're just praying that you don't hit something, going, how am I going to get out of here? I don't know the way out. It's too muddy. I've had to call tow trucks. I've had to go into knock on doors to ask if someone will pull me out of the mud and find a farmer with a tractor.
How did that go?
It was so funny, actually. I saw this. It was a really rainy. I was up near a lake somewhere. I don't know where it was, and I saw this open field, and I thought, I'm going to drive down to this lake. The road looks good, like it's a dirt road, but it looks solid. And I got halfway along and went, oh no, it's not so good up ahead. I'm going to try and do a U-turn. There's nice flat grass beside me, so I'll have to do it. And soon as I went into the grass, I just sunk.
Oh dear, horrible feeling, isn't it? And you remember all those YouTube videos where you're tying planks to the wheels with rope.
And I was trying, and I was, and then
Oh,
so I saw this house in the distance. So I'm run through the mud and the rain. I've got the dogs in the car. I can hear their dogs barking, and I run up to this man, and I looked in his garden. This is a rural area. I looked in his garden, and he had like a Fiat Panda, and I went, "Oh God,
it's
there's
not
no way
going to
he's gonna be
work.
able to pull
You're
me
going
out."
to need a bigger boat.
But
Right.
I didn't have phone reception there. I didn't know who to call anyway. So I knocked on his door. It was an elderly man. I didn't speak much Portuguese then. He didn't speak English. And I'm saying, "It's me down there." And he looked at me and said, "Sozinho?" And I said, "Si." And he went, "Ugh.
Oh, really?
Oh, meus dois. Okay." And I said,
That's an honest response.
and then he said, "Espera." And I said, the carinha, because my car was, my dog was barking. He said, "Si, si." And it was like 200 meters away. And I said, "Can I use your phone or something?" And he said, "No, no, go, go." So I went down, and next thing you know, he comes out of the back of the house with a tractor, and I went, "Yes!"
Brilliant.
And he comes out
Wow.
with the tractor, and then he said to me, "Have you got a rope?" And I went, "No."
Got a dog lead. Got a dog lead.
Oh. You know, Spare it, trolls back, get some
But
chains out of his shed.
I'm liking this guy. It's not that
It
he
was
doesn't want to help you, right? But he's just being
no,
very honest about his
he's just going, "Oh my
experience
goodness,
situation.
these
Yeah.
foreign women that are
Oh
floating
my
around in the
God. Okay,
fields,"
wait there, wait there. Yes.
right there. So, yeah. So there's all of those things that you suddenly go, "I'm in I'm in doggy do here, and I
Yeah.
don't know what to do." Like, you do have to have expertise, and how do you get yourself out of the mud? How do you navigate this? You have to have this broad-ranging expertise in things that you never anticipated you would need.
Yes.
Um, and making friends is harder, and I think this is, some people disagree with me, but I think being a single woman is more difficult to make friends, even at home in Australia, because people tend to make friends in couples. Most
Yeah.
travelers are couples. And I have found that even in Australia, if you're having a barbecue and you've got a mate, a single mate, you'll say, "Come on along." Very few people and families invite a single woman to a get together. Um,
Mm.
and I think there's potentially many reasons for that we don't need to go into, but
They're
it's
dangerous, aren't they?
exactly. So you have all of these things where you're known, but and I think especially in more traditional Portuguese community, the main people I meet at the moment are workers and things like construction guys and all of that. They're not going to say, "Would you like to come home to our place for dinner?" His wife would have a heart attack.
Mm.
So it's a bit tricky. Whereas if two guys were chatting and they said, "Hey, come on over," it wouldn't be seen as strange
Interesting,
to
isn't it?
invite a
Yeah.
man into your
These
home.
are global things, aren't they?
They're global, yes,
Yeah.
and then you've got, and I found that in Australia as well. Um, no one to bounce decisions off of. Yeah, so I just think there's a lot of things that are difficult for everybody, but it's just escalated. And in the short little travel, you have the advantage of, there are advantages to being single, as you said before. You don't have
Well, I
to
was gonna
consult
ask you,
anyone for a
yeah,
decision.
that's right. You know, when you
You
said you're
didn't.
imagining in my life, Louisa might say to me, "Oh, don't worry, let's not worry about finances anymore and go and have a coffee." She might also say, "What have you done now, you idiot?" There is that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
There is that, and I was saying earlier, this idea that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. There is some truth in that, isn't there? And
Absolutely.
one of the great things actually of being in a couple or a family is you can blame other people, and you can also think someone else is doing something that they're not, and that's a great relief actually at times. It's not very productive or helpful ultimately, but there is that, whereas you can't, can you? You've either done it or you haven't done it, right? And it rests with you.
And when you're bad at so many things, I think for me, not blowing my own trumpet, but I'm good at a lot of stuff, and
Mm.
I'm used to being good at a lot of stuff. So suddenly when you're thrown into being really bad at most things, it's like, what happens? Like,
Yeah, I can imagine. That I think people can relate to that, and perhaps in other areas of their life, and certainly being in a new culture. And if you've got to face that on your own, I imagine that can be pretty dark at times.
Especially when you go, as you say, when you're in that place,
Yeah,
there's nothing, if you don't have a friendship group, with the combination of those things together, you go
yeah,
home and you just can spiral into,
yeah,
this, have I made the right decision? Am I doing the
yes,
right thing? Is it, what about me? Maybe it's just me. And then you get people, um, not necessarily foreigners, but you do get people. I saw in a post yesterday, a Portuguese person said to someone, well, if you haven't become fluent within 5 years, you're just not trying and you don't want to. Yeah. Oh my God. You have no idea. Maybe I'm just dumb but
that's
what I
that's
looked
not very
at
encouraging, is it? Okay.
exactly,
Yeah.
and people do say that but what I commented and I said, and just for anybody struggling with the language, what I said to him is, you look at a baby who's completely immersed in the culture from the moment they're born and the
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
We don't expect them. We give them 2 years to be able to say mama, dada, walk dog, whatever. That's 2 years. By 5 years, they're making short sentences, but they're not having a conversation like you and I are. And we think that within 5 years that we can have this conversation in Portuguese or we're stupid.
Yeah.
And we're not immersed in the culture. Even for me, I try and go out every day. I've been to the coffee shop this morning, spoke a little Portuguese, but half an hour a day is not the same as sitting in it 24/7.
No, absolutely.
And
But
then the school kids, until, they'll practice in Britain and Australia, you had English lessons until year 12, and you
yeah,
learnt the grammar and the
still, it might
construction.
not be enough. We learn from some people. Yeah.
Exactly. So they've had 17 years of learning the language before they're deemed to be even relatively proficient, and many aren't.
I know.
And
You know
you
what, Mel? I
compare
think
the
someone was
culture.
letting off steam there. So can I take it that actually going online when you're feeling a bit down in the dumps, it might not be a very good idea? Well, I mean, that's what I want to know. What do you do for people who are watching, thinking, "Yeah, I get all of that. That makes a lot of sense." What are the strategies? What are the tactics for getting out of that? Those sort of doldrums, those expat doldrums, and those feelings. What have you found works for you?
For me, actually hopping online, depending on what you hop onto,
Yes.
and, if you and this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today, is, someone else gets online and sees this and they, "Thank God it's not just me."
Yeah, yeah,
It's not just me. It's okay, actually. There's this competent woman who sounds reasonably sensible who's
yeah.
struggling too.
On a bad day, yeah.
Um, Getting into single women's expat groups or something where you can say, "Oh my God, does anybody know how to do this? Or can we meet for coffee?"
Yes.
Forcing yourself out of the house is the big kicker, which was why I think I'm still struggling with mental health after COVID, because I couldn't get out of the house.
Mhm.
So I just got into the country permanently and I'm stuck inside for a year talking to nobody. It's just your mental spiral, which is only fear-based online, is dreadful.
Yeah.
So, I really try and, get down to the local coffee shop or something, walk out of the house, and some days, to be perfectly honest with you, even now, I have a day, and I'm feeling great most of the time now, but I've had days where I've been holding back tears, or unsuccessfully, on the walk to and from the coffee shop,
Oh, bless you.
"Oh my God, oh my
Right.
God." But then I go, "Okay, put on a happy face and a brave front and get in there and talk to someone." And I was feeling that way actually the other day, and as I was walking back from the coffee shop thinking, "Oh, this is so fake," like, I'm not that happy. Why am I pretending to be, just to try and talk to some people, practice the language? And I came back and I was feeling miserable. And this stranger on the street stopped me and said, "Hey, do you speak English?" And I said, "Yes." And then I was able to help talk to him. And then I went away feeling really happy that I was able to help someone and do something that I felt confident with. Um,
Yes.
and
Well,
so I
f
think that's the
facing it,
thing,
yeah.
is actually trying to, if the opportunity presents itself, trying to do something that you feel competent in again, just
Yes. Yeah.
because otherwise you
Uh,
just feel stupid.
Acknowledging things, I think, can be very helpful, can't it, as well? I had that yesterday. It's walking the castle, which I will name before the end of the show. I'm walking down the steps, very slippery they were as well, and I saw a couple coming towards me, and I said, "Oh, olá, boa tarde, tudo bem?" And the guy said, "All right." He's from all right. He's from up north in the UK. I heard you coming down steps. It was, it was. I said, well, that's reassuring, isn't it? But sometimes it's like that. And you met an English speaker. Well, so they lost, and were you then the authority and the helper in that situation?
Yeah.
How was that?
He said to me, "Where does this road go?" I said, "Nowhere. It goes to the end of the street. There's a cemetery. You'll turn right and end up back on the main road." He said, "I just wanted to wander around the town and see what there was." I went, "Not much. There's
It
nothing
goes
down here except
nowhere.
houses." But,
That's just a brilliant start to a horror movie, isn't it? Where does this road go? Nowhere.
well, like, nowhere except the cemetery.
Yes, yes. Go back. Right, we've got some great comments here. Quite a variety of comments that you've prompted. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, of course, is how you think Portugal fares in the lists, these lists that we see more and more, and also how safe you feel here. Hopefully, we'll have time for those, but let's hear what other people are saying on the matter this morning. Thank you, everybody, for your lovely comments. Much appreciated. Come on, Mel, says Joel F. You're not bad at that many things. You're just doing new things in a completely new circumstance. No surprise there. Some words of encouragement from Joel F. Nice to see you, Joel F. These are a bit random, some of them. Does the sustainable... Oh, yeah, we've already done that. Leria is a guess on the castle. Could it be Pombal? Could guess Matty. Adrian, I grew up with it everywhere. I think that's talking about the old wacky backy, the devil's lettuce there, which we seem to be talking about earlier on. Forward planning, the castle builders obviously had a vision of the future. Absolutely. Amanasir would have been better and cheaper, though. Yeah, it's true. They didn't have that much foresight and vision, the builders of that particular castle. How does a Welshman eat cheese? Carefully, of course. More talk of castles there. We will get round to travelling solo. I did see the fantastic bus yesterday. I am a train spotter, it would appear, who never grew up. Loved seeing the new transit system that goes all the way out into the Miranda de Corvo Luzon Valley there. Look, fan mail for you, Mel. Thank you so much for your time and fab advice last week. That's lovely. Thank you for doing that, Mel. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Learning Portuguese, some natives don't even speak it correctly. Well, that's true enough, isn't it? And they'll acknowledge that. It's complicated. So where does that leave us foreigners? Just do your best, right? Don't give yourself too much of a hard time, but that's sometimes not easy. When I get this feeling I am done, remember there are lots of people who are much more stupid than you that do speak Portuguese fluently, so you can do it too. I tell myself in those moments. Some good plain speaking from Matty, as usual. You only have to ask about somebody on this show. Let's see if we can manifest somebody else now. What happened to Antonio F? Not seen him come on for a while, and in an instant, he popped up. Kate, we have learned that it's better to install things ourselves. We have just modified our kitchen and couldn't envisage getting a tradie to do it. Is she Australian as well? That sounds like an Aussie word, a tradie, doesn't it? I wonder what culture that's come from. And could you teach them some Strine, Mel? A classmate of mine who picked up British citizenship too after teaching history there, fled with Brexit and teaching English at Coimbra University. Is that an Aussie? There aren't many Aussies in... that's another thing, isn't it? If you're looking out for Aussies for a bit of company, there aren't that many in Portugal, strangely enough. We did talk about that, didn't we? And do you have a language exchange partner, someone who wants to learn English? Have you joined local clubs? A bit of practical advice there. I'm sure you've done those things, right? Or thought about them, Mel?
I have asked that language exchange thing. I ask about it every week, every day. Does anyone here want to learn some English, and we can sit and meet for coffee? Everyone goes, "Oh, that'd be great." Never happens.
Do you know of Pam in Alcobaça? She has a conversation club.
No,
Could be a bit more positive. Yeah, seek out Pam. It's on the...
Look, the thing is that with what the guys are saying, take your time. I get that, but it's so essential for my life. I don't have an option. Like I'm in a rural town where there's not a lot of English spoken. So for me to function, I have to be able to get it a bit because, as I say, there's other couples in the town where one of them gets it a bit and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
Or they're wealthy and they hire people to do stuff that speak English or whatever. That's not me. I was just going to say, and it refers into one of your little things up there about safety.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I was just thinking, it's a little bit different for me traveling versus remaining.
You
I
did make that distinction, didn't you? You were clear to make that distinction between
I
traveling
felt
and making life.
incredibly safe traveling most places in Europe, and in fact, it raised my vision of the world as being a safe place to be. I think we can be too
Cool.
caught on television, and
Yeah.
when we're out there, yeah, I had a few little dodgy situations in a variety of countries, including here. But each time I did, I had, 2 to 5 good people stepping up to help me.
Yeah.
And so it was well outweighed, and we must remember that. You
Yes.
get There's actually less chance of being pickpocketed as a single person, especially when you travel a lot. You have a great expanded awareness, and you're
Yeah.
always on the lookout, and you're not distracted. Pickpockets usually go for a couple because you're chatting,
Yeah.
and so you can be distracted by another person. So you have that. But I do think that as a single, particularly woman, Portuguese, especially the elder community, can be a little bit misogynistic, and they presume that anybody from a Caucasian background is wealthy. So, I mean, the amount I get charged or attempted to be charged or quoted for things is ridiculous. The things they tell me are wrong. And in Australia, I could easily go, if they said to me, hey, we can't put this bench together unless you pay whatever, 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 I would automatically know, don't be ridiculous. This is how you do it. Da, da, da. But here I
The
don't know.
pushback.
Here
You
I
don't
don't know
know.
what the
Yeah, I
materials
understand
are. I
that.
don't know what
Yeah.
the equipment is. And so
Yeah.
I'm much more prone to being taken advantage of. And I have found here, sorry to say, I have been ripped off more times and had problems more here than anywhere else in the world that I have
What a
been.
shame. Right.
But but traveling, this whole thing about, we know statistically women, and I'm talking women obviously, over 90% of all problems happen at home or in the home of someone you know. So men are actually 3 times more likely to be violently assaulted outside the home than a woman is. And we
Right.
don't think about that so much for men.
No, no.
So traveling, I found optimum kindness, care for people taking me under their wings,
Yes. Yes,
and
yes.
just amazing
Yeah.
traveling. It's a
Very good.
different thing that you're looking for when you're traveling as
Yes.
traveling to what you're looking for when you're trying to establish a house and a home and be in one
No,
place.
I totally get that. Totally get that. Your I guess your countenance and your aspirations would be very different, wouldn't you? There's not an end in sight, or there's a different end in sight, isn't there? With that traveling, you have that temporary feeling, which is actually very there's a feeling of elation that goes with that, isn't it? And I guess the opposite is true. If you feel like, well, this is it now, that would bring potentially a different mental attitude to things. You could date, perhaps. Every day there are gentlemen advertising to meet a senora, especially 50 plus. That's a long-term strategy, isn't it, to deal with some of these challenges that you speak of?
Which brings a whole other set of challenges.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. The chat club is here. I've put the link for that. Pam does a great chat club. Her complaint I've heard before is that not enough people want to do it. So that might be a useful connection for you there with Pam in Alcabasa, who we haven't seen for a while. Maybe she'll pop up in just a moment, but she'll have to be quick because we're 4 minutes past the hour now. Thanks, Mel, for that. I guess the final question would be, would you do it again? I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? You're just talking very openly, practically, authentically about what you're facing. Is it all worth it in the end, or do we not know that yet?
Uh, well, it depends on if you want to go overseas and you're on your own, you don't really have a choice, do you?
You got to get on with it, yeah, and find the
So
way.
it's either stay in your own home country
Yeah,
or move overseas. If you want to move overseas, then you haven't got a choice but to do it. I just think that I think that you don't necessarily consider, especially someone like the women, probably men too, who make that decision to go overseas. It's often because they're feeling quite accomplished, or they know what they're doing in their home country, and so they feel confident enough to pick up and go to another country. So by
hmm,
nature, we're the sort of person who goes, yeah, we got this. And it's
yes,
quite a kick to the confidence to suddenly come in and go, I'm a 2-year-old again on
yeah, yeah.
everything, how to order a coffee, where to go, the geography. It was such a big day. I remember driving from where I used to live up to this region off the highways. I didn't use the highways. And the first day after months that I drove up here without using Google Maps. And I was so excited, like, I got here all by myself. Like, I didn't need to use directions to get here.
Cool.
Whereas in Australia, where I used to live, I knew the city like the back of my hand and could just go, oh, I'll just drive there. Whereas this, I was like, how do I get there? Which is going to be the best road? And you're suddenly having to think out everything, and you feel like, oh God, this is all very difficult to do basic things. So you just, it's a compounding effect of it being every little thing, which now I look back on and go, it's simple. I know my way around this region now. Of course,
Yeah.
it's tricky. But when it's compounded with, I'm trying to buy land, what is the cadenetta? What is a cadenetta? What do I need to look for? I didn't realize there was this rule. These tell you these things, you know, and then I come home and where do I buy food? What's that called? I don't know what this is. And every little aspect of your day is nothing that you ever feel in the first year. You know, you're always slipping into something, you know, I don't know what this is. I don't know what to do.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you never have anybody to share that load with, you know. And I just think that it's important. It's not to put people off. It's just too important to go, this is what people face. Because what we see on YouTube is, hey, I'm building my house, constructing it by myself in the forest. And, you know, I said to someone a while ago, this person's doing an amazing job and she's in her 50s, I think, and it's amazing. And they went, yeah, but you got to understand how many people she's paying and how many volunteers she has in helping her with that. I'm going, oh, she didn't put that on
No,
YouTube.
no. Well, we have to take things with a pinch of salt on the social media, don't we, and on the YouTube. And I thank you for, you know, laying it out clearly and plainly. And you're a great service. You know, if that's any consolation and constellation, to tell people to, you know, what they're up against in an honest way, I think is really helpful because then they know what to do about it and recognize, that's the thing she was talking about. I get it.
Brace
What was
for
it she said?
impact.
Brace for impact, which we better do now. So thanks, Mel. Stay with me for a few bits if you don't mind, because there's all sorts of memes and things here. Hopefully, some of these will be funny. Oh, that's my bit of a mailbag, so I'll have to come back to that on another occasion. Although that's what I've written about. Can Muslims integrate in Portugal? Is my featured article in The Resident later on this week, and it's going to be a two-parter. That was another bit of language stuff. No, we don't need that one today. Antonio F. This is great because Antonio F. points out to me, Mel, when I've made mistakes at the Portugal Club when I'm uploading information there. He says, "Oh, this is wrong and that's wrong." So, you know, when we get it sorted out, and I say, "Oh, you're amazing, thank you, mate." Is there a Portuguese saying about rushing and trying to do too many things? Of course there is. Depressa bem, não há fast and well. No one can do it like that. Maybe some that's home improvement advice as well. This was the castle. Correct guess. Not right there, T-Duck on Leria, but yes, Matty, it was Pombal Castle. And I recommend it. There's a fantastic restaurant and cafe at the top there. You would never know. Typically Portuguese, you would never know. Lovely place for a chocolate-based snack, it would seem, and lovely snacks and an amazing restaurant. We were too late for the restaurant, but they treated us really well in there. Absolutely loved that. The headlines today, opposition sends citizenship reform to constitutional court in Jorge Branco's Portugal Weekly. Unfortunately, there were casualties, fatalities for Claudia, 220 kilometres. I hope your land was all right, Mel. And the general strike looks like it's going ahead. The Labour concession's not enough for striking unions. Catch Jorge Branco's Substack there called Portugal Weekly. And a couple of funnies to finish with. Those of you who are getting up with me at 7:30 in the morning to check in, change my alarms to applause so I get the recognition I deserve for waking up at 6 a.m. That is a good idea, isn't it? And something that I might try out on Thursday on the Expats Portugal call. I'll see if I can work this into it. I told a joke on a Zoom meeting and nobody laughed. Turns out it's not even remotely funny. I think that's great. Very good. And you've been great as well, Mel. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody. And a few people who haven't been here for a while. Where you been? Thanks for joining us today. Coming back again tomorrow. We're here tomorrow. And yes, it'll be hump day tomorrow. So have a great day, Mel. Thank you for sharing. And we'll see you again next month. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need